Okay, so today we're going to be reviewing this Diva player slash Sigma player ski. I think I've actually reviewed this guy before, because he plays for my team, I'm pretty sure. So I might be able to add a couple things, but even if he's not the same player, we can still watch and see if he, makes any mistakes or any improvable things that we can work on. So we're gonna right ahead and start this review. First off, running around Diva on King's Row. Pretty good meta pick, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it if we're playing comp. That's my personal opinion. Good pressure on this Ryan here. Try to hug corners a little bit more as Diva. Instead of taking all this random spam damage, you really want to avoid taking random damage on Diva as much as you can. Try to be careful of boostering in there as well. If you're gonna boost in really hard like that, go up into the air so that you avoid taking nades and stuff like that. And it's not worth it just boostering into a team like that. Try to wait for your Ryan to be in first before anything like that happens. If your Ryan's in there first, you can do so much more as Diva, and they won't like six players won't be focusing on you if the Ryan's there first. Your first checklist that I should say for you, I'm gonna pause this real quick. Ski, your first checklist on Diva should be, is my Ryan in so that he can take the damage? Like, did I DM him in? Is he in? Next thing after that should be, is there any cooldowns or like anything that I can eat? So like Fire Strike, Soldier Rockets, let's see, Zen right clicks, Ononades, sorry right clicks, stuff like that. So you want to make sure you're tapping your right click. You're gonna have a lot more DM if you're not standing out in the open, like right? Like if you're using natural cover and using your missiles and primary fire around natural cover, you're gonna take a lot less damage out in the open, which will mean your uptime will just increase on all your cooldowns. So yeah, you're gonna have more DM, you're gonna have more health, so you'll be able to stay in that position for longer. You're gonna be able to help your Ryan more if he uses his shield. So yeah, let your Ryan like kind of be out in the open. I mean, your Ryan should be playing natural cover as well, but like when you guys are trying to shield in around this corner, for example, you want your Ryan to shield in first. You don't want to be face tanking the damage before like anything happens, like even before the rotation begins. You don't want to be face taking all this damage, right? So other than my little spiel there, we're gonna continue watching. We're just trying to get a remake. Okay, we get a remake. Almost died for it. Glad we got the remake off. Good game sense, knowing that we need to back off. Good. Unlucky. It's all good. Other than that, yeah. So I think that's a pretty bad habit that you have, and like with kind of just boostering in and this going out. So what I'd recommend is don't like just booster in a straight line, right? Like if you're gonna booster in at all, send your stuff up into the air so that it makes it a lot harder for them to kind of like nade you, right click you, beam you, you know, dynamite you. Because overall, this isn't like boostering like that is not getting you much value. If you really want to kill the Ryan that's out of position, either booster in melee, and then like completely 180 your mouse into the air, so you're kind of just dropping on the Ryan then, right? So if you're dropping on the Ryan, it's gonna be a lot better because all the cooldowns that they're spamming at your Ryan shield are gonna go below you, and you're gonna be in the air, and you'll be able to shoot the Ryan because he's gonna be shielding this Ryan, right? So you're gonna be able to shoot the Ryan a lot better instead of just boostering in a straight line, taking all the cooldowns. So let's try to be careful of that. That's about one habit that we can fix. In terms of eating Grav, it's a skill matchup, but usually most areas will play differently. So some will like be very obvious about it, they'll just walk into your sight line, or some will be smart about it and they'll hold around corners. For example, this Arya had hit around a corner. If we were if we saw her go to the right side, what we could have done is that we could let our Ryan sneak up and then hold right click for when she was trying to grab. She knew she could grab because you weren't looking at her. But for example, if we did saw her, we could try to do a little bit of a sneaky diva tech that I see a lot of higher level divas do. Is that they either go behind the enemy team and like hold right click when your team is going in, or they hide around a wall like this, and then wait for your Ryan to go up, and then they like hold right click for when the Zarya is trying to grab, right? So that's a couple things I saw that you could do to eat grab. Other than that, I was just like unlucky. We kind of just walked up with our Ryan. It looks like we might get naded here, but that's just one thing that we can do. We don't have to be like right next to Ryan because we want to be in a range where we are not taking all the spam damage that he's taking. We'd rather be around a corner. So in terms of using your booster to take space, you want to make sure that you're not like going way too far up. So you went all the way here to your Ryan. If you think about it this way, you're kind of like out in the open, regardless of if we got grabbed or not. So it would have been much better if you walked up instead of using boosters, because there's no reason to use boosters. Boosters, you'd think it'd be a cooldown that you want to use like anytime that you want, but you'd rather use it for escape more than like an engagement. Engagements are only for if you have like a monkey or if you have like a hard engage comp where you just want to int into their team. But from what I learned from Ball Diva meta, Diva's boosters is only used for escape. And, you want to make sure you have them for when the enemy team's trying to, do stuff to your team, right? Because if you don't have them, like, you have no escape route, you're grabbed, you can't do anything. If we're just walking up instead of boostering, we could have possibly ate the grab, we could have possibly, ate the nade, all this stuff. So that's like one of the main reasons why I'm saying, like, don't be super close to your Ryan, regardless of if you got grabbed or not, right? So we're gonna continue watching. Zarya has no personal. I think we end up losing this fight, most likely. We go back to your POV. Speed up time. Okay, we're back to the fight. Good to get on that first strike. Nice jam. Good pressure. Good. Nice knowing that you shouldn't go on the open layer with boosters. In situations like these, I'd highly recommend defaulting to high ground. A lot of the times, divas will get in the rhythm of playing with their Ryan after they know like the basics pretty much. But there's actually like a next step to diva. Let's see if you do it. I want to see if you go high ground here, because high ground is so good. Because if we don't know where their enemy team is, high ground is a great default. I don't know why high ground's a great default. For example, if they have a enemy Ryan shield here, we can literally spam on their backline as diva with missiles, and they virtually can't do anything about it, and it turns their attention to you, so your Ryan gets even more free value. So, next tip would be if there's a high ground, default to it. Obviously, on the last points there was no high ground, but now there's like a sort of high ground. Now there's a sort of high ground. So let's try to utilize that a lot more, because we can still effectively DM our Ryan as well as missile their backline on the high ground, right? And if worst comes to worst, we can always drop to like hard peel for someone. But try to implement defaulting the high ground. So that should be one of your checklists. Checklist is my Ryan in? Did I DM it? Is he safe? After that, in the mid fight, who do I appeal for? What do I use my DM for? Right? Is my team in pressure? Is the pressure coming from our front line, back line? Do I need to like pressure out the Ryan shield because we have ultimates? Stuff like that. So, the first thing is my Ryan in. Checked off. He's in. Did I DM him? Yep. He's DM'd in. Then after that, what do I do in the mid fight? What do I do? What do I DM? What where should I position? Am I going to be more aggressive? Hold quarters because our team's not getting pressured, so I don't really need to DM. I just flick DM for fire strikes, or send right clicks, or do I hard peel? Are they running a dive comp? Stuff like that. So try to create a mental checklist of is my Ryan in? Checked off. He's in. I DM'd him in. Does my team need help, or can I be more aggressive? Do I need to be more passive? Then after that, is there high grounds that I can utilize to be aggressive or to take positions? Yes, there is. Okay, let's use that high ground. So try to create a mental checklist. I even do this in my ELO, where I check off things. I'll say to myself, what can I DM? Try to be careful of letting fire strikes by, because you can easily just tap right click. I mean, I even miss fire strikes like this. I know it might be nitpicking, but it can really help the team fight a lot by not getting a shatter charge. So just try to be in position every time the Ryan's around. You know, when he's trying to fire strike, because look, we're on cart. How are we gonna eat this? We're not in his LOS, so Ryan can easily fire strike. It'd be a lot better before the fight even happened that we were kind of just stacked with our Ryan like right here, so that we could eat any cooldowns that were coming in, right? First priority, remember our mental checklist? We gotta make sure our Ryan's in, right? After that, then we can look for high grounds. We can't look for high grounds yet because we're not. We know our space is currently right here where the card is, so we have to, try to check those things off, right? And we have to try to set up our position for success. We don't want to be here because we're out of the LOS of pretty much everyone, effectively, of what our job is. So, our job is to eat their spam cooldowns and to get our Ryan in and our mental checklist. Remember? See that bomb? I didn't hate it, but it would have been a lot better if we waited for the Ryan shield to break and we arced the bomb this way. I know we kind of reacted because they used Bob, but let's try not to do that like every single team fight. We want to be more proactive with our ultimates, right? So we'd rather like use bomb first before their Ash use bomb to make them react, right? So if we did this, arced bomb, then the Ryan has to look all the way back here. Then the Zen and Soldier potentially die, stuff like that. I don't hate ground bombs, but in certain situations, arc bombs are just better. Ground bombs are for when they have pretty much just no cooldowns. I'd say arc bombs are great for just taking a lot of space away from them. So, if you arc bomb, you take all the space for free because they have to look this way. And then free front line. So, you kind of don't want to react to Bob because imagine if you bomb there, the round has no shield. We have to focus on this thing first before we can go here. So, try to be careful of, reactive ulting like that. It can really detriment your team. Okay, we're back in mech. We see the Ash on high ground, good pressure. Nice that we didn't fully commit. Good DM. Nice body block. Nice melee. We get out with our life. Good job. Alright, next thing I want to see is, do we take high ground? Think about it this way, this is just a death trap for D.Va. Like, they want to kill you here. Like, there's not much that we can really effectively get value here. Their backline's too far away. Zarya is pressuring us. Next best thing would be to default high mental checklist. Our team's already in. I don't think at this current time no one needs to peel other than maybe our Mercy before she died. But another reason for why high ground is so good, imagine if we're on high ground here. We probably would have already pressured this Ashe off so the Mercy couldn't kill our backline. We could have potentially, peeled for our Mercy. We could have right-clicked her. So that's another reason why high ground is so powerful. As D.Va, you want to be looking at like pretty much your front line and back line as much as you can. You don't with certain times. You don't always want to be like checking 180, but you'd rather be in positions where you can see both of them as easily as possible. For example, high ground. You see your back line, you can peel. You see your front line, you see their back. You see a Ash on high. Like we can do so much things here if we're on high ground, right? High ground is just key on D.Va especially. So high ground, high ground, high ground. Continue watching. Ash on our team. Looks like we probably lose this fight. Alright, next fight. But just try to think how powerful high ground is in so many comps. It's really that good. Another thing, like I mentioned, let's try to avoid booster engages. It might be nitpicking, but it actually helps. As you saw, we missed the first right there. Let our Ryan go in first. We don't really effectively want to be the first one here. We want to wait for our Ryan to be here, and this goes true for so many, so many things. Continue watching. Yeah. See how much damage we took? Took half our damage. Zarya went for another flank grab. So yeah, that's like another reason I'd like to mention. Like obviously, not everyone's gonna catch this, but if we start thinking in our mind to always default the high ground, we may potentially like catch this Zarya off guard, but might be nitpicking. But that's all I'm suggesting. Okay, you just grab that fight. See what our team does. Oh, unlucky. It happens. Don't worry about it. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a scrim environment or not. Okay, we don't have Ana. That's the other team. Lol. Okay. Good pressure on the ball though. Nice. Good. Good DM. Nice body block. Good, good, good. I like all this. Nice, nice. Good job. That's exactly what I wanted to see here. That was good because your run shattered there and used your entire DM on him, and then you also body block the soldier so that he can advise your backline. That was really good from you. Good job, Ski. Okay, let's see. What do we do here? Okay, Drunko's Zarya. Okay. Fight kind of happens. Split attention. So, and fights like this, to make their attention pretty much not only look at you, but to look at someone else so that your on is safer, because this chunk is going to get effectively a lot of value if we don't negate his, hit his primary fire. So we want to think, do we want to create more off angles, for example on the high ground here, to pressure their backline so that their Ryan doesn't get help? Or do we want to get our Ryan in first and focus on this Junkrat so that he doesn't get value, so that we negate this off angle, essentially, and get our Ryan in? But it looks like this Ashe is going to try to take this high ground. So if we go into our mental checklist, we think about clearing high grounds. Like, is there a high ground that we can use? Certainly there is. So let's use it. Their Ashe is pretty much just a free kill if we, missile her, primary fire, and melee. She's going to most likely die. Because their focus right now is getting their line in and their Junkrat and our front line. So if we watch how this, fight goes. You know, look at this. Look at where we are. Look at how limited our vision is. We see their Ana here, we see their Drunk right here, and we see their Run. Look at this Ashe's vision. She has vision on you, on Ryan, on Mora, on Mercy, on pretty much Hanzo, on the entire map. See how much more powerful that is? Like, it might be, it's such a small thing, but being on high ground, literally, you can see the whole map. Try to avoid being super close to our run. We talked about this earlier, but if we're at a distance, like maybe a couple player heroes distance, like right here, we can eat fire strikes, we can eat all of this. We won't be phase taking damage with our run, and we have a better view of the game. Same goes for high ground. It would be even better if we were here, because then we can split. They're, if they're looking here, they're gonna have to look up here because we're pressuring their Zen. So then they're on it, and Zen are gonna not be healing their run, so that our run has the advantage in the team fight. So try to think about that more. D.Va may be the tank role, but we don't want to be like, right in the front line. We don't want to be taking all that unnecessary damage, right? Right there, I didn't totally hate it, but that was like not the greatest bomb. Only reason why is because they have so many escape routes. They're not committed to point yet. No, they're not committed yet. When they're committed is when you really want to bomb. And in my mind, there wasn't really a point in bombing that, just because our run wasn't in yet. We're still at this line right here. We still haven't pressured out their shield. They may have they reactive nanoed after that. Our run got antied. So that's kind of why I didn't really like that bomb, because there's way too many off angles first for that bomb to really clear. You want to make it so that you force them to go somewhere. So if they're on and we're still here, we could rather arc bomb this way, so that it lands either on top of here. So if it landed here, it literally would have cleared everything. There's then they're on it when she was here. They're potentially the Zarya, stuff like that. It would have cleared everything if we bombed right on the spot. It might be really hard to do that, but just try to bomb in this general, direction, right? That would have been a lot better than simply throwing bomb into the wall here and dropping it. So If you throw a bomb into the wall here and drop it, it effectively clears all of this. But they were over here, right? They had all this cover. This Ryan has shield. They had this. So try to think about that in terms of where they're at and where we want to bomb. So if we're just randomly throwing bomb, we're not gonna be thinking about, oh my god, cart sounds. We're not gonna be thinking about where the enemy team is, right? Good sleep. Eat on that. Your drunk is a crazy man. He's killing everything. Yeah, you see what I was talking about earlier with, trying to focus on eating fire spikes and being at a better distance to eat it? It really is, eff effective if we focus on stuff like that. Nice. I'm glad you're on the high ground. Welcome, sir. Oh, we gave it up. We kind of had to. Nice eat. Nazar is not very skilled. Okay, we have to regroup here. It's fine. Speed it up. Get this review going. But yeah, you see all the flanks our enemy team has taken this entire game. We need to get that if we take high ground. I think we're. Let's see why we're going over here. Probably Mega. Oh, okay. I think we heard the Tracer over there. That's why. Okay. Yeah. I've already talked about us being out in the middle. Being close to Orion, we take all their cooldowns from the enemy team and primary fires even more. Rather, if we were on for here, or even if we were holding down to cover here, we could DM the Orion shatter if anyone got shattered. So that's like my main point with like kind of gluing yourself right next to the Orion or being in front of him. You take all these CCs that you don't need to be taking if you're either 2 years distance away, right here. So where your DM and your missiles and your primary fires is still effective. So a common misconception with D.Va, especially in lower elos, is that I need to be right in their face to like effectively be getting damage. You honestly don't. D.Va's effective range is right here. This is her effective range. I can be killing her without even moving. If she's moving right now, I can kill her. So that's just kind of something I wanted to talk about. Same with DM. This is effectively the DM range right here, DM range. So if we like create that mental like line of where I need to be every fight. So like think if I'm too close to my Rhine here, I need to back up. I want you to think to yourself that like, hey, I'm already half hit, health. I'm out in the open. I need you to be like, okay, I'm taking too much damage. I'm scared for my life, right? I'm scared. Try to get that I'm scared D.Va feeling. Because I had to learn that during Ball D.Va meta. I remember I used to be such an aggressive D.Va, just like you. I used to literally only want to make plays for my team, only want to int into their backline. But I learned that I get even more value if I just quite literally do my job, and I can still kill everything if I do my job right. I can still create impact, right? I can still play the game at a fun level. Looks like we're backing up here, just trying to get out, get some shield damage in. The only thing I can recommend for Baby D.Va as a fellow D.Va player is to crouch spam and hold corners and go in and out instead of being out in the open and WS strafing. That's the only thing I can recommend. I'm not gonna spend too much time on Baby D.Va mechanics though. Trying to get him back. Try to be careful about crosshair placement. But nice, we didn't die for it. But you see how hard it is to react if we're right next to our Ryan in terms of eating fire strikes? It's so difficult. Like, it's so hard. Unless you're like a master on D.Va and you can eat like everything, that's gonna be really hard if you're right next to your Ryan. So just try to make your life easier with your positioning, right? This is Positioning is so important, especially against what they're running, because Zarya, Reaper, pretty much everything kills you. Their team's just investing everything, so this is totally fine for you. You just get out here and live. Oh, big. Wait, the Zarya got on the high ground? Oh no. Oh no, what's going on here? Nice. She had the high ground now. Not much we can do about that. See, like, for example, right now would have been a perfect bomb time. We're engaging. If we bomb right now, our Ryan, no one's looking at our Ryan. Our Ryan can just pin in, right? So try to think about that when we're trying to bomb next. How our team is related to our when we want to bomb. Like how our team is our team healthy? They're healthy. Are we engaging? We're engaging. That's perfect time to bomb, right? Gauge bombs may be frowned upon and say they're not always good. This situation is perfect. You clear literally everything. You force the Ryan back that's holding cart. We're at, almost at overtime, right? Nice. Like we got the kill, but like I had mentioned earlier, if we arc bomb it right here, we clear even more space, right? We force the Ryan back even. We get the shatter off because of that, but instead of ground bombing, I think the last review I talked to you about ground bombing more. That is only effective in certain situations. So next thing I want you to practice is, slide bombs off corners and more corner arc bombs like this. It might be default, but it does clear a lot more space rather than shooting bomb down. If you're shooting bomb down just to shatter it Ryan, which is also fine, that's fine. But you can get the same amount of value if you arc bomb it like that, and it makes the Ryan look up, his shield up, right? If he's not great Ryan, he should be using his shield at the last second to block bomb and shatter. Good that we take high ground. Unlucky. Think we're trying to go after that Junkrat. A lot of times in the fight we look kind of lost, and I think if we do our mental checklist, we'll have a default position to be at, right? So default position can either be two hero lengths behind our Ryan, so that we can eat cooldowns. On high ground, where we should always be, high ground is even better than low ground. But low ground we sometimes have to drop to help people, right? But we always want to be here. So try to just think of I don't know what's happening. I need to resort to my default positionings. Two hero links, high ground. Or if we're like the fight's crazy, we can literally just boost her into the air and search where's a good position, to be. That's also valid. We got grab there because we weren't prepared for, you know, you know, potentially eating the grab or potentially helping our Ryan in that situation. Yeah, try to be careful of, make sure we're eating first strikes. And like we said earlier, try to be careful of, booster engages. Look where our team is. Look where we are. Yeah, I'm gonna continue. But effectively, we're trying to, make plays after that grab happened. Just try to resort to doing our job, and we will get even more value than what just happened there, right? Lucky that we got shattered. End of the first round. Let's see, I gotta wait for your Sigma play. I'm gonna zoom ahead to your Sigma play. Because I think I got a good amount of your Diva. Bastion comp, interesting. There we go. Pulling out the toast. I like it. What a god gamer. Small thing, I think rock is like 8 seconds. It's good that you kept it here. But if you want to be a troller like me, you can always just int your rock onto spawn. And potentially get like 8% alt charge. It might be sound useless, but like, alt charge is alt charge, right? Try to be careful about stacking shields down main. Currently, you want to be relying on your Reinhardt shield. There's nothing that you need a shield here, right? So try to be careful of stacking shields. Nice shield. Good. Ski, ski, ski. We talked about rocks. We talked about using them to confirm kills. Nice kill. Yep. That's fun. A lot of Sigs don't do this, but I'd say try to eat first strikes with your left shift more. You have no ultimates to eat with left shift, so that's perfectly fine for you to eat first strike, right? Another thing I'd mention is instead of, defaulting to here, let's either play here, or, I mean, it depends on if it's a scrim or not. I think this is comp. But generally, let's take like soft angles like this, and like this, so that we're not right next to our own. So we apply two sides of pressure. That's how good, Sig is. Because we have that shield, we can hold an off angle for much longer. Yeah, you see where we are with our team, hugging our run, kind of pushing up a little bit. If our position is like this, if we're locking our crosshair onto a certain like position like this, shield off your potential damage, right? So this is potential damage. It's coming right at you. It's probably gonna hit you. It does. That's a lot of damage. We can block that with shield. Now we block it with shield. Good. We're learning. So I'm gonna create a mental checklist for Sigma real quick. So what essentially you need to be doing on Sigma all times if possible is making sure did my run use shield already? Did he use shield? Is he okay? Oh, okay, my run's okay. Oh, does he need help? Okay, now I use shield. Now I use my my left shift, my eat for him to get him out. Like for example, for here. Now I use my left shift to get him out. Now I use my shield to get him out. Oh, is my team safe? Are we good? Shields are up. We're healthy. Now I off angle. Now I look to pressure their backline. Let's see. For example, I go over here. Pressure their backline. Pressure their off angles, their backline with maybe with my team in a safer spot. Like kind of throwing the ideas out there, but we're kind of just defaulting to Orion. We're kind of just playing in the front line. Like Sigma's job is much more than just playing with Orion, playing in the front line. He can do so much more than that, right? We can be getting our ultimate so much more if we're on off angles, right? Look at relatively. These are super fast charging ultimates, but we can be right up there in those ultimate charges, right? Right now, we look like we're playing Reinhardt as Sigma in terms of ult charge. It's not like it's not something to like just be mean about. It's just something that I'm just bringing up as an example of how much value you can get if we off angle, and how much value more that you can get if we don't always default to our Ryan. Obviously, we want to make sure he's safe, but we can do so much more after that. We even got a pick. Good eat. So try to be careful of defaulting your crosshair to one spot. We hear that there's Zarya's over here. We want to be careful of tunnel visioning onto these three targets. Because off angles are our job, right? That's not Orion's job. Orion's not going to be able to deal with off angles. He has to focus on the front line battle, right? So that's our job. We can focus on here. Right now, I'd like to see throwing spheres into here so that this Ana doesn't get away with what she's doing. Effectively, right now, they're way out of our range. On Sigma, you don't want to be focusing tanks. You want to be focusing squishies as much as you can. That is ultimately what Sigma's best at. Now we back up, try to help Orion. Orion gets antied. We nano Orion. Oh no. They shatter. They nano their Zarya. Oh, it's the ultimate fest. Nice aim. Good stuff. Nice. Nice aim. But yeah, you see, you have great aim. We can do even more with that great aim on an off angle. You see what I was talking about earlier? Left shift. Left shift on fire strike. It's useful. It helps you. It's worth. Nice block on that. Right click on soldier. Make sure we're not AFKing during your game. Your Ana's just a crackhead. Okay, so let's see if you do this. Okay, we don't. So before we would even flex here, I'd want to mention shielding this Widow off and just spamming her out. This is also your job. Widow's technically on an off angle, so off angles are your job, right? Just try to remember that off angles are my job as an off tank player. Off tank, off angles, off tank, off angles. This is technically an off angle. High grounds are your job also. So high grounds, off tanks, high grounds, off tanks, high grounds, off tanks. Also your job. As an off tank player, think off angles and high grounds. Those are like the most important things as an off tank player. You can literally just remember those two and become a GM player just by remembering those two. If you implement, if you incorporate, you know, your play with high grounds and off angles, as well as pressuring squishies rather than tanks, you're automatically a GM off tank, no matter what. Even if you don't have the great aim, if you literally just have crosshair placement, looking in one spot and then just using your, your WASD to, line up the shots, you're still a GM player because you're pressuring out the right off angles. Maybe not right there at this current time, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like pressuring this out, just aiming in the general direction and getting spheres on her is much better than what we're currently doing. Like your run was actually focusing the Widow with Fire Strike. He had the right idea. It's not his job, but he wanted someone to pressure the Widow out because the Widow has focus on your Bastion, your Ryan, potentially your Mercy if she peeks out. So that's why that's your job, because if she's any good of a Widow, that can be like really dangerous not to pressure out. So right here, what I'd recommend with Fluxes is to rather focus the backline rather than tanks. Unless you're just trying to run them down, it's not terrible, but she probably has both bubbles up. Let's check if she does. She had bubble up. So yeah, if we're gonna Flux, pressure out the Zarya so that she's forced to use bubble. Wait for your Ryan to swing on the Ryan a little bit to pressure out the bubble, then look to line up your Flux with, their backline, right? Backline and squishies are so much better with Flux rather than focusing tanks with it. Right there, try to save Rock from when his shield goes down if you're trying to rock him at all. Nice shield for your Junkrat. That's what I like to see. Like I said earlier, eating fire strikes, useful. Checking off angles, good. Nice, we hit the fire strike, good, good. See how much health you got from that? See how much health you got from that. If we have not been using our L shift as proactively as we could have been. L shift also helps you stay on the off angle longer and in the team fight longer, because it gives you shields. That's why it's so strong. That's why I'm recommending use it to eat fire strikes, unless they have ultimates, obviously. Instead of running away here, you can effectively L shift and walk back. You're safe. No one's gonna pressure you out. So instead of going on high ground here, walk back with your team. Because you see, even if your run didn't hit that massive nano run shatter, you're effectively not in the team fight for like 30 seconds. And that's really effective when the soldier's visoring, right? Because he's aimbot. Good kill on the Ana, good cleanup. Alright, next fight. Let's see. We'll get this going a little bit. A rip to our Junkrat. But you see what I'm talking about? Like with if our crosser is locked to a certain hero or position, and there's heroes that are spamming us at another off angle, we want to be shooting that off if we're trying to look at other positions. I'll go into training range to explain it a little bit further. Because like Sigma's like kind of really hard to coach just with talking about it. It's better if you see it. I say I'm a visual learner. Fire strikes, L shift. There's even a Sigma game mode I swear I had on my main account that you can use to get a lot better at Sigma. This is actually perfect for you if we're in terms of ultimate economy. They use trends. You back up here. We take the safe fight. They use ultimates. We take the safe fight. We play for our life. Nice rock. See, that was a good rock right there. You pushed them back. You made sure their hog couldn't hook you. Nice block. Okay, let's pause that. But yeah, you see what I'm talking about with, let's see. Let's go forward a little bit. Going forward. Block. You can effectively drag your mouse crosshair of Flux all the way back here and get 3 people instead of just getting 2. So try to incorporate Flux with your killing the backline. I don't particularly hate the Flux, but they had all their cooldowns up, and look where Orion is. All the way back here. Effectively, what value are we getting right now before the fight even happened with Flux? Not a lot. Potentially the pick on the Zen if we're scrimming and the Tracer knew to focus that Zen, but if we're thinking individually, we'd much rather wait for Orion to be there and wait for their cooldowns to be busted, like Shield, Nade, Sleep, for example, maybe even Soldier E, so that they don't have cooldowns to heal themselves. Bubbles, if they had a Zarya, they have a Hog now, so we don't have to worry about that. Stuff like that, that's when we want to use Flux. It's almost like Reinhardt Shatter in a sense, where you want to wait for the Reinhardt shield to be cracked, then you want to Shatter. Try to be careful about forgetting about your shield is out there in the field. That's a common mistake that a lot of Sigmas will forget about when they're playing the game. Is that they'll leave their shield out and they won't retract it to regain shield health. Nice emote. I do like the emotes. Definitely really good. Do that more. Good little spam here. Spamming out. You hear the Hog. Shoot him off. Good. Nice. See what I'm talking about? Only rock when you know you will hit the rock, or you can potentially hit it. For rocking right here, Hog has this cover right here, and we're not really going to be able to do much about that, right? We're not going to be able to, maybe spam him with primary fire. And it would have been maybe even better to save rock for when he used his healing cooldown, right? Our Trace is insane. So yeah. So in terms of blocking shatters, it's going to be a lot easier if you're on an off angle so that you don't have to worry about all these other people spamming you. Because we're kind of looking at a fixed area as Sigma. Sigma's kind of similar to D.Va where you want to be like looking everywhere to help. But it's also different because you can do so much more with Sigma. You can literally just do everything in the game. So there is a game to help your reaction time with blocking shatters with Sigma. It's not something really too important to focus on here. Like it wasn't game changing, but it could have effectively helped your team. If the Ron's like being very obvious with his movement, which he was kind of just walking in a fixed line, and then he went forward with Shatter, or I think he even jumped. If we're on off angle like this, and we're pressuring in and out, we can see any unnecessary movements for the enemy team, any weird movements, because we're not worried about our life. Our life's safe. We have natural cover. We're fine. It's not much to worry. We don't have to worry about hook. We don't have to worry about flash. We effectively just worry about the front line and when we want to pressure the back line. So if we're only worrying about the front line, we see the Ryan do a crazy jump shatter move. Easily block that. Easily. We might even block it if we already have shield up, right? For our team. But I think we just lose this fight, so that's fine. Keep on going. Orion's insane. Unlucky eat. But Sigma is a very, cycling cooldowns hero. So like right there, we didn't I feel like we didn't fully understand our cycle of cooldowns to effectively engage into a team fight. Regardless of if the Pharah killed our backline, she's rolling us, stuff like that. Pharah, she's on high ground, she's on an off angle. That could be like potentially our job. We can shield primary fire to a certain extent. It wouldn't be a bad idea to try it. Because there's not really much people other than maybe Ana and Hog that can kill you. So before the fight begins, I'd like to see us using shield to engage. Shield to engage can be, blocking primary fires on an off angle, blocking hooks, you know, or even, you know, shielding off people so they don't have healing. That's another thing that you can do. But first cycle of Sigma is shielding to get in. After that, if our shield breaks, then we want to use Eat to either, you know, eat on his nade, sweep, all that, sends orbs, or even fire as primary fire. Because after we shield it in, we potentially block the hook, we potentially block fire primary fire, potentially block the sleep. After that, we eat. We can't block hooks anymore in Sigma, unlucky. So we have to be careful of the hog. But we can block literally everything else on the enemy team with our left shift eat. So let's try to get more value out of our left shift, and we'll be golden. Rocks, think of rock as a killing. You know, it's kind of like rock, primary fire, and melee. That's you know, I forgot the term for it, but it's pretty much it helps you get secure a kill on a squishy, right? So, for example, we kill the hog. The far is pressured out. She's not here. Now we're here. Go around the corner. Rock, primary fire, melee. He's dead. We effectively want to use rock to cancel ultimates and to kill squishies. It's not, and obviously to eat cancel. That's canceling cooldowns too, I guess. So canceling ultimates, canceling cooldowns. Put that in that category. So mental checklist for Sigma. Shield in. Shield off angles. Shield high ground. What do we shield? What do we shield first? Is there on shielding? Okay, we don't have to shield. We don't have to shield. Is there people on off angle? Okay, we have to shield. That's in our category. That's in our hero's job. Off angles and high grounds. That's off tank for you. Off angles and high grounds. That's literally off tank. Our one's shielding. He's good. The enemy team's on an off angle. Okay, we need to shield that. We need to pressure that. We need to try to force that out, right? That's our job. After that's done, now we focus on is our shields up? Are they cracked? Are they broken? Okay, our run shield's broken. I can shield. I have my shield up. Okay, my shield's broken. Okay, I need a left shift to get to a safe position, or I need a left shift to eat cooldowns. One thing for example, are they using their cooldowns that we can cancel with rock, and are we in position to cancel it, or are they using ultimates that we're in position to cancel? Okay, they are. Okay, yeah, now we have to rock this potentially, even though for example that's for example let's say we're not dead here. Potentially rock this to cancel it. Potentially shield off his healing. Stuff like that. Potentially get a kill on the Zen. Rock primary fire. Melee. Potentially on the Zana. So that's kind of like the mental checklist that I like you to go through with Sigma here. If we remember those three things of how our cooldowns work relative to the team fight, you're gonna be golden in every team fight. You're gonna have your brain will have a default thing to do pretty much every fight. So your autopilot in Sigma is gonna be even stronger essentially. Because Sigma is also a pretty easy autopilot hero, I'd say. So right here, this is real time. Let's act like I was in this game and I was thinking about this game. Okay. We're in front of a run. First mistake, we need to run. We need to run. I don't like this position. We need to run. We gotta go. We gotta get out of there. This is too dangerous. We're taking too much spam. Too dangerous. I don't like it. Okay. Next thing. Pharah in the sky. Our run still has shield. We don't need to be this close. I'm too close to my run. I don't. Ooh. Okay. Their cooldowns aren't down yet, and they potentially have ultimates to act on them. Want to wait for their shield to be down. Want to wait for their cooldowns to be down. Potentially want to wait for a run to be able to follow up on that flux. Stuff like that. Okay, our on shield's broken. We shield it. Good. Okay, our shield's down. Instantly as our shield goes down, left shift. See, that goes with the checklist, right? That's something that we can do in the future, right? If we remember our checklists, our on heart shield went down, right? We instantly shielded it. That's good. That's part of the checklist. Right after we drop shield, we bait the high noon with dropping shield, and then we instantly eat, right? So Sigma shield effectively it can't really protect our backline all too much unless we're right behind you. So you can just focus on yourself in that position a lot more. But if you're gonna do that in a team setting, obviously, call it, hey, six you're dropping, I'm gonna eat, back up, stuff like that, if you can. Let's see. Aran actually ends up getting res. That's pretty good. Oh, he gets pinned. Unlucky. Alright, let's see what I can do. This does look like a scrim, I think. Maybe not. It's not. Rock primary fire. Oh, okay. Don't need to be eating there. In that situation, I'd think of it's kill hog, kill hog, kill hog. I'm not too focused on my life. Another thing I'd like to mention there is that we probably could have lived. Hindsight on probably. Because we could get the same value of killing that hog from here. Rock, primary fire, maybe not in the melee, but we can just spam him out with primary fire and potentially get the pick on him. I saw how good your aim is when they're lined up. I saw how good it is. Your aim will be even better if we're at effective distance, medium range. Sigma's effective distance. Try to position yourself, effective distance, medium range. Obviously, like, if they don't have shield, they don't have cooldowns, so you can start pushing up and, spamming their face. But I'd much rather you see default to medium range as much as you can. So, for example, if this is our Ryan, we'd be, like, right here. Effective range. We can kill the Ashe. If we want to kill it, if the Ashe is dead, if we want to kill the Junkrat, it's right here. Right around here. If we want to maybe get a rock on him, we go a little bit further to line it up, and we get the rock on him, and then we walk up even further, primary fire melee, he's dead. So, that's just kind of another thing I like to think about. It's a very minor thing, but it's a very important thing. Okay, we got a ball to stall, or a baller. Only thing I'd recommend here is set yourself on high ground for power drive, and I think you might do this. No, but okay, we don't. Let's do this next time. You can catch them off guard if you're up here. If we're just chilling up here, you can easily catch off their backline. They have to touch point. That's their purpose. Your purpose is to disrupt backline. And if you disrupt backline, they have to look at you rather than point. Right here, you're making your position known. I mean, it's fine in the fact that you're getting primary fire. If this was a actual, fight before overtime would happen, I'd recommend this. But let's just go ahead. Let's just go ahead. We potentially kill the far here. Power drive, primary fire melee, she's dead. Potentially kill our backline here, even if we get stunned. Or what we can do if we're trying to play the safe route, we go around here, we go all the way to the backline, we roll through, and disrupt, and disrupt. We wait for cooldowns and disrupt, and disrupt. Or we drop down like this. It's kind of hard to do, but we roll through, boop the creep back, power drive him so that we solo him out. Ana potentially peels for him, but then, look, if the Ana peels for him, they're looking at me, they're looking at the Kree, they're not looking at their Ryan. But obviously, we want to wait to power drive for when our Ryan's, effectively at, frontline range, at clashing range. So, let's see what we try to attempt to do. We're kind of on an off angle, just chilling, power driving. Yeah, we're defaulting to tanks again. So you see how much more value we'd be getting on the backline? Look how much that power drive did. He's safe. He has hold fast. He's not going anywhere. When we play ball, just think disrupt, disrupt, disrupt. Good kill. Effectively, you didn't really have to walk into your backline. You're safe here. You can roll and power drive. You can still disrupt. There's no one really that is gonna kill you. We shattered. We have the advantage. Oh wait, I skipped ahead a little bit too far. Pepega. Let's go back. Alright, see what I was talking about? We kill his Zen. What I'd be doing right here, backing up to line up the grapple, and then power driving. Grapple power drive. That's what I'd be doing. But yeah, you see? Okay. I'm Pepega. We potentially lose the team fight because they did stuff first. They ulted first, stuff like that. They did stuff first. We could potentially clean up the team fight even more if we're still disrupting their backline instead of playing frontline as ball. Ice block. Or dodge, I mean. Yeah, we're kind of just defaulting the point here. Yep. That's fine though. When you think ball, think backline. Ball and backline. Perfect for each other. And that's the end of the VOD review. 3 major points. Um, okay, remember your checklist. First thing, on Diva, is my Ryan in? Did I DM him in? I did. He's safe. He's good. Does my team? Okay, mid fight. Does my team need peel? Does my Ryan need peel? Does my frontline need peel? Okay, they don't. Okay, is there a frontline that I can use? Or is there a high ground, I mean, that I can use? Sure, there's a high ground. There's a high ground that we can use, right? So, let's think. Checklist. Run safe. Backline safe. Let's see. Can I be more aggressive on maybe a high ground? Or there is no high ground, so I play natural cover as Diva, right? I don't take spam from, you know, the LOS of the enemy team. As Sigma, is my Ron Hart shielding? Okay, it is. Is he safe? He's good. He's chilling. His shield up. We're good. Is there people on the off angle? Ah, no, yeah, there is people on the off angle. Okay, that's our job. We shield the off angle. Stuff like that. We shield the off angle, and we look to pressure it out, and we look to take that off angle, if possible. If not, we stay with our team. This is kind of what I was talking about with locking our crosshairs. So look, let's act like that red bot right there is an enemy. I'm not seeing him right here. If I'm looking right here, I don't see him, unless like what I do on Sigma a lot. You see this downtime? You see that downtime? On my downtime, I will literally look around. Like, not even joking with you. I will look around. Look, I don't have to be looking at the enemy team right away. Yeah, that's rock primary fire. But I just as my experience on Sigma, I'm not gonna be defaulting to this. I'm gonna be defaulting to enemies. Okay, there's an enemy that I'm not looking at. Shield. Then we can then after that, we can do some more action like that. We can practice ulting with our shield on the ground, stuff like that. So let's see. Let's let's act like this is a backline and this is the front line. Let me build my ultimate. Get off of their run. Okay, now we have my ultimate. Frontline, backline, potential enemy on the off angle. Frontline. If tanks are here, and let's say our run's clashing right here, our run's safe. We checked that off already. After that, is there can I peel from my backline, or do I want to be aggressive in the front line? Is his shield down? His shield's down. Look, he's not shielding. His shield's down. His shield's down. He's not shielding. Their tanks are here. They use bubbles if they have a Zarya. They have no cooldowns. They're dead. They're dead. They're simply just dead. The Ryan can't do anything about that. If you're fluxing the supports in the backline, this Ryan's dead. He's just dead. He's not living. Your Ryan can freely swing on that. Because we're fluxing them, right? So another thing I like to mention is, let's say I leave my shield there. I forget about it because I'm focused on this. I'm focused on this, right? I'm focused on the bot. I want to kill this, right? Okay, which one is the shooting bot? Okay, these are the shooting bots. But my shield's getting shipped away. There actually, if you listen to it, there's a shield hit sound. So there's actually a sound cue. I mean, obviously the game's very loud with with rock and primary fire, but if you listen for it, you can hear it. And I can hear it in my right ear that my shield's breaking. I can hear it in my right ear because I'm looking here. So I look this way. And I see, oh, I left my shield up. I take it away to recharge it. So I think one thing that you should practice in training range just to get the habit down is as much as you can, wait for these bots to come around and just do this off cooldown. Just do that. Or do that. And then another thing I'd like you to do, if you're trying to like shoot bots at all, practice this as well. And then also practice this. If you hold crouch, you can go to the ground with flux. So that is about the end of the review. I'm glad I was able to review you, Ski. This is going to be very helpful for you. This is also, I think, an initiation into me being certified for a coach. So I hope I did well. I hope I went over all the points that I did. And obviously, I hope that this improved your gameplay, Ski. And I think I did a pretty good job. And I'll see you in scrims when I can.